Hey everybody, so today we're going to talk about where the electrons go in an atom. Before now, we have just counted how many electrons should be in the atom using Ape Man, right? So at this point, I should be able to point to any element on the periodic table, and you can tell me the mass, the atomic number, the number of protons, the number of neutrons, and the number of electrons. Today we're going to learn where to put all those electrons. The importance of putting all those electrons in the electron cloud is based on how they're arranged. It's going to determine what kind of chemical reactions and chemical formulas those atoms can make later. So, again, reminder, if you're going to figure out how many electrons are in an atom, you should look at the atomic number on the periodic table. The atomic number is equal to the number of protons in that atom, and most of the time is equal to the electrons. But remember, every now and then, there may be an extra electron or a missing electron that's going to cause an ion. We'll talk about ions later when we talk about making chemical formulas and chemical reactions. For arranging electrons, we're going to use a Bohr diagram, named for Niels Bohr. He came up with this planetary model of atoms, where the center, the sun of the solar system, is the nucleus, and all the planets around the outside in the solar system, that's the electrons of that atom. Now you'll notice in these pictures that I have up on your screen right now, instead of a nucleus, it just says +3 for lithium, +9 for fluorine, and +13 for aluminum. In some of the diagrams I had you start in class, you would just write the Li in the middle, F in the middle, or Al in the middle instead of the number of protons. For Bohr diagrams, the nucleus is not important. It doesn't have anything to do with chemical reactions. The nucleus just kind of sits there. So in a Bohr diagram, we just kind of don't bother drawing all the protons and neutrons. We just end up putting a symbol that replaces the nucleus. So we'll use the chemical symbol of Li to replace the nucleus instead of drawing out 3 protons and 4 neutrons and shoving them into that little spot. So the most important part of a Bohr diagram are the electrons, and the least important part is everything in the nucleus. So we just minimize the nucleus because it's not important. Alright, so I'm going to show you some pictures of some Bohr diagrams, and I'm going to want you to come up with some rules on how those diagrams should be drawn. So here's an example of neon, phosphorus, argon, helium, hydrogen, and sodium. So what I want you to check out is how many electrons can fit in each ring, shell, or level. Remember, we can call those circles shells. We've already learned that. We can also call them energy levels. And anything less than shell or energy level is kind of, not very sciencey. So you could call them rings or circles, but try to use shell or level because that's, more accurate. Also think about how you fill up the levels. Do you fill them up, you think, from the inside towards the outside or the outside towards the inside? How many fit on the inside? How many fit in the middle? How many fit on the outside? And then I colored special electrons called valence electrons black in your pictures. So can you figure out what a valence electron is based on these pictures? Alright, so we have orbital shells or energy levels. And the first level, the inside level, you should have noticed, can only fit 2 electrons. The second level, which if there's more than one, might be the middle level, can only fit 8 electrons. And the last level, the outside level, the outermost level, is the third level, and it can only fit 8 electrons. For 8th grade science, we're going to pretend like there's only 3 shells. In real life, there's way more than that. But things start getting a little funky after the 4th level. So we just kind of pretend like it ends there so that we can keep it simple and easy to understand. Here's how you place your electrons on your atoms. You always fill up the inside level first. You are not allowed to put any electrons on an outside ring before you fill up all the inside rings. So make sure the insides are full before you draw another circle. For example, if you find helium on your periodic table, it's at the top and all the way to the right, and when you check out helium, the atomic number is 2. So that tells me I should have 2 electrons on helium. Because 2 electrons can fit on that first shell, I only need 1 shell for helium, and I would put 2 electrons on helium. Neon is right below helium on the periodic table. Neon has an atomic number of 10. That means there are 10 electrons on neon. The inside level can only fit 2 electrons, so 1, 2 go on the inside. But I need to fit more electrons because neon needs 10. I've already put 2, so I need a place to put my other 8 electrons. Good news for us, 8 electrons can fit on the next energy level. So I'm going to put electron number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 on the outside ring for neon. Argon is right below neon on the periodic table. If you check it out, there are 18 electrons for argon. That means 2 electrons can fit on the inside ring. 1, 2. 8 electrons can fit on the middle ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All total, I have 10 electrons already drawn on my argon atom. If I have 10 electrons on there, but I need 18, how many more do I still need to put on my atom for it to be finished? I need 8 more electrons, so I'm going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is the total number of electrons for argon. If I add up all my little electrons, I have 18 total. 2 on the inside level, 8 on the middle level, and 8 on the outside level. Alright, we have those special electrons. They are called valence or valence electrons. Either pronunciation is fine. I'll usually say valence. Those special electrons are only the electrons on the outside shell. We do not care about the inside shells. You'll want to write this down for later, but we're not going to talk about it till we talk about the periodic table, but the valence electrons will match the group on the periodic table. Alright, so here's your assignment for today. You already have the mass, protons, neutrons, and electrons written on your document from yesterday. You either have a worksheet or you have a Google Doc. Your job is to draw a Bohr model for all 18 atoms on your document. You'll also want to write the number of valence electrons down in the corner. I'm going to work boron for you to help you figure out how to make it happen. Here is my document from last class that I have already completed. The important number of all the numbers on here are the electrons, and I highlighted it, boron, just so that we can pay attention to it. Boron has 5 electrons. I'm going to want to add 5 electrons to my little circles. So here's the best way I can think of and easiest way I can think of for you to add stuff to your document. I have a slide that's titled Adding Electrons, and it's on your Schoology assignment for today. So you are literally going to take the little electron, click on one, and move it onto your circles. And that's boron. If I counted, it's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 electrons, which is what I wanted for boron. I have on the side here some instructions on how to move that. Now, unfortunately, I can't just copy and paste this and stick it into my Google Doc. For some reason, it doesn't work, and I don't know why. If you're using a Windows computer that's running Windows 10 and above, you would press the little Windows button, press Shift and S all at the same time, and it'll let you highlight this little area to copy and paste it. If you're using your Chromebook, and I have the keys on your little picture there, you're going to hold Control, Shift, and the little page button, the screen button, at the top of your Chromebook. Another option, if you have a different kind of computer, is called the snipping tool, which is actually going to be your friend. I have mine saved here, but you can always search. If you go to Windows, you can always search for your snipping. It's literally called snip. And then there it is, your snipping tool, okay? I have mine saved here, and basically it does the same thing as those buttons do in my instruction. You'll end up getting a little plus sign on your screen if you press those buttons on Windows or Chromebook, and you literally make a little box around what you want to copy. If you're using the shortcut buttons, it should automatically copy. If you're using the snipping tool, you need to make a little copy button. Press here. Then you're going to go to boron. I'm going to delete that picture, and I'm going to Control V, paste in my picture of boron. Now I have boron on there with 5 electrons. So those of you that are working from home, that's how you'll put your electrons in your document. That's the fastest, easiest, simplest way I can think of to make it happen. Those of you at school, you're going to end up literally writing on your worksheet from last class. Check out these little video clips that show you how to write it and how to draw your electrons. Use these videos to double check your answers to make sure you have the number of protons, neutrons, and electrons correct on your worksheet. That should be it for today. I hope you understand about electrons. We'll talk more about it next class. Make sure you do all of your assignments and have a wonderful day.